And then it's time to get back after it. I don't know about you guys, or it's Tuesday, it's Thursday. My brain all over the place. But what I was trying to say is that, I don't know about you guys, but compared to last week, I feel significantly better. Like so much freaking better. And so, as far as mindset goes, make sure you guys stay locked in. Make sure you guys are, sticking to the grind and also trying not to be perfectionist with this stuff. Okay, the perfectionist stuff's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to keep you super frustrated. You cannot be perfect with this, right? You can only do better. That's a quote I've been trying to keep constant in my own brain is all I need to do. The only singular thing I need to do is do better. That's it. Right? You don't have to complicate it. You don't have to put all these twists on it. You don't have to be perfect about it. You just got to do better. If you do that, I promise you, I guarantee you, you're going to do better than you did before. And that's all that matters is progress. Right? If you can't focus on that, guys, I know you guys see all these people on Instagram, you see them on TikTok, they look like they're miles and miles ahead of you as far as progress goes. But the reality is, a lot of those people built that up, right? They built the progress. They progress over years of time. Okay, that can happen to you too, but you have to have a long enough time horizon. You have to understand this is going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. There's a reason that's a quote, guys. I know it sounds cliche, but like that's the main thing a lot of people aren't getting under their skin. They get super frustrated for not being exactly where they want to be right then and there, and that's just never going to be the case ever. Right? Because even the person you watch that has the goals that you want has goals that they don't have yet. Right? So remember that. When you have goals, guys, we're always left in the state of wanting. So we got to make sure we don't get lost in that. It's so easy to, because again, we want these goals so bad, but also you need to be more obsessed with seeing progress in general. Okay, as long as you can do that, I promise you will see success. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was more workout-driven stuff. And so what I wanted to kind of get into is something I use personally for my own workouts, for my clients' workouts. I literally have a program specifically dedicated to these two things for my clients, right? And so these two things are superset training and cardio acceleration training. Some of those may sound unfamiliar to you guys, so obviously that's why we're doing a live stream on this. But understand, to go ahead and give you guys an understanding of how this stuff works, or rather, why you would want to maybe do it in the first place, is this is going to significantly reduce the amount of time you spend in the gym. And not just increase, double the amount of volume or repetitions you're able to get out in the gym. That's a huge win. Right? If you could spend less time in there but get more out of it, would you not do it? Right? What's the trade-off? Intensity. Okay, so this is something I want to go ahead and make known off the bat. This is not something you should be doing if you're brand spanking new. Okay? The reason I say that is because I say brand spanking new. I mean, obviously, guys, if you're starting to feel like you're ready for the next level, go ahead and do it. But if you have never really worked out before and you're jumping into it, start off with just understanding the basic movements. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to struggle with a lot of this stuff for two reasons. One, you need to kind of know what exercises you're doing, right? You need to know what you're getting into each exercise. So if you don't know what if you're doing for example, if you don't know what a sumo squat and a goblet squat is, and you're supposed to be doing that in a superset, you're going to have to literally figure that out through the process, which you will learn through. But the other half of that is you will absolutely wreck yourself. You'll be so super omega sore because your body's not used to that kind of stuff, which is okay if you can deal with that. But I promise you guys, when you do that stuff with your legs, it makes it very incredibly hard to move around. Incredibly hard to move around. If you're going for that, great, go for it. That's why I'm giving you guys these options. But at the same time, you need to be aware of these things before you jump into it. I don't want you guys freaking out just because you can't get off the toilet after leg day. It happens. It's a real thing. That's not just a funny little meme that goes around. That it literally hurts. It feels you get very sore. It's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Okay, so just make sure we go into that before you guys start doing this stuff. Right, but again, for a lot of my clients, I already have this programmed into them. I always let them know what they're getting into before they just jump into it. But I always recommend just regular exercises to kind of build yourself up. Once you're ready for the next level, then it's time to go ahead and start implementing supersets next, okay? What about cardio acceleration? That's what we were talking about at the beginning of this. Cardio acceleration will come after supersets. Cardio acceleration is the intensity above supersets. It's significantly more intense. Okay, so you got to take this in levels. With my clients, I literally have a program set up to where the first couple of weeks we just do regular full body workouts. A couple of weeks after that, we go ahead and go into superset training workouts. A couple of weeks after that, we go into cardio acceleration workouts. That's how we have it layered out for my people. That being said, what's superset workouts? Supersets are essentially doing 2 exercises at the same time. Okay, so like let's say, again, I said sumo squats and goblet squats. Basically what you would do is you would do a set of 10 sumo squats, followed immediately with no break, 10 sets or 10 reps of goblet squats. Now there's a bunch of different reps and sets you can do, but you're doing them back to back with no break. That's the essential idea. And then you take your 60 to 90 second break or whatever you're going to do, right? So the big thing here is you're getting in twice the amount of volume. You're doing literally extra exercises. Like you're getting whole extra exercises in the same amount of time it would take you to just do one, right? That is great if we're trying to increase the amount of volume, increase the intensity without spending more time in the gym. It's fantastic, right? Here's when you're not supposed to do it. Never do these at the beginning of your workout. Okay? It's not that it's just, I'll tell you where it's going to inhibit you. If you are really trying to keep muscle and strength, it will inhibit that. Okay? Because if you do a lot of your heavy stuff towards the end of your workout, or here's another big thing. You're not going to be able to go super freaking heavy with any kind of superset. Why? Because it's not super heavy if you can immediately do another exercise right after that. Okay, that's not really that. It may feel heavy, but it's not so heavy that you can't do more. That's what heavy really is, guys. If you can only get 5 reps in at max you're going as hard as you can only get 5 reps in, that's heavy. That's the difference. You need that kind of training, and you need it at the beginning of your workouts, not after superset training when you're wearing yourself out. Does that make sense, guys? So the big thing we need to understand with this is that there is a time and place with it. You're not just doing this willy-nilly whenever, right? Obviously, yeah, something's always better than nothing, but if you want to optimize fat loss while keeping your strength and muscle, that's the way you got to go about doing it. If you don't do your strength training at the beginning of your workouts, you're going to leave strength on the table. I don't say you necessarily lose strength if you still train very hard, but it's definitely, if you go into the next thing, which is what we're going to talk about, cardio acceleration, you definitely won't. Okay, so here's the thing about cardio acceleration. I wouldn't put someone on cardio acceleration unless they are trying to fucking cut some calories, okay, or cut some body fat. Right? Now, they can be trying to build muscle and cut body fat, but the reality is this is such an intense and more cardio-driven style of training that, it's definitely not going to optimize muscle building. That's where supersets are going to be kind of in play, right? Now, again, for my people, not a problem for you guys, because, again, I program all this stuff for you. You don't have to worry about it at all, right? I even talk to you guys, and I like to get on phone calls with them just to make sure that we are in line with what they're supposed to be doing and understanding it fully and making sure that they're good with this, going through this part. But just doing this stuff willy-nilly, that's not the optimization you're looking for, right? So so what's cardio acceleration? I'm talking about it. What is it? So the way cardio acceleration works a lot like supersets. You're doing 2 exercises in 1 set, right? Here's the big kicker. There's 2. There's 2 main differences between this and supersets. The first main difference is that the second exercise is always body weight driven, right? Either body weight driven or cardio driven, right? So it doesn't mean you're doing weighted exercises back to back. You're not going to do sumo squats and goblet squats as a cardio acceleration superset. That's not what cardio acceleration is, okay? Here's the reason that's important. The second big difference, there is no rest period. This is more like a circuit. Okay? And it's also why we call it cardio acceleration. You're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for 3 to 4 rounds, depending on what you're doing. So a cardio acceleration superset's going to look more along the lines of maybe 10 goblet squats, superset with 10 or 15 or even for 30 seconds, body weight squats instead of your rest. That is your rest. The body weight exercises or the cardio-driven exercises is your rest period. So you can do it for reps, which is what I prefer. It's just easier for me. Or you can do it the real way you're really supposed to do it and do it for time, for 30 to 60 seconds, okay? You never really want to do more than 3 to 4 sets of this at a time. If you do more than 3 to 4 sets of this at a time, you increase the chances of getting hurt. Guys, this is the most intense version of anything we've been talking about. It will make your heart rate go up like crazy. It's a form of HIIT training. It will make your muscles feel like they're about to explode from burning. Like it burns more than any other, I don't care who you are, any other style of training I've ever done in my 15 years of training. Cardio acceleration burns the most. Does it put on the most amount of muscle? Not necessarily, because you're bending the line between cardio and weight training, guys. I don't want to go too big into it, but this has to do with the difference between aerobic training and anaerobic training. And so that's something to kind of be considered again when we're talking about burning fat, building muscle, or at least maintaining muscle as much as we can. Cardio acceleration is fantastic for that, right? But like for most people who are trying to like maybe build a lot of muscle, it's something where I'm going to recommend more superset training with. Or again, because again, it's just going to come down to the amount of volume you're doing with weight, with weight that you can't do for a certain amount of reps, right? And so that's where we kind of have to keep this in play. Again, you're definitely not going to want to do cardio acceleration before you do heavy weight training. If you do that, you're absolutely not going to have any energy for your weight training. Again, guys, I want to bring this into the play too, because I feel like a lot of people miss this part. Don't do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio before you do weight training. Okay, I don't care if you're trying to burn a lot of fat. Do not do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio before you do weight training. If you do that, you're going to burn a lot of the fuel you have for the weight training, and you're going to lift less weights. You're going to lift literally less, like how heavy you lift is going to be impacted, and how many reps you get is going to be impacted. Right? And so obviously those play a big role in making sure we maintain, and you can even build muscle on a fat loss, in a calorie deficit if you do the right things. That would be one of them. Okay? So stuff to kind of keep in mind here, guys. That's why I like to go ahead and do these live streams for you guys, because I see people throw this stuff in, but it could be optimized. Again, something's always better than nothing. I'm not going to knock you for doing something. If you're in the gym, you're putting in that work, I don't give a shit. You're doing great. But if you really want to go a very specific direction and not run into a plateau later down the line after you've gotten a certain amount of results, these are some of the things we need to start thinking about. When do we put this stuff in? Where do we put this stuff in? What phases of training do we put this stuff in? That's important, right? If we don't know that answer, we end up doing just whatever feels best. And guys, let's be real, whatever feels best didn't get us any results, right? Whatever feels best to me is going to sit down on the couch and eating a bunch of Twinkies. I'm not going to lie, it feels great to do that. It's not something I'd ever go do, right? But to sit here and act like that wouldn't feel great to do, maybe not Twinkies. I'm not a big Twinkies guy. But you know what I mean, right? But that being said, guys, try these out. Again, for my clients, if you want to get into some superset cardio acceleration training, let me know. I've got programs specifically designed for that. We can get you on that starting next week like that. No problem. Ready to go, right? But again, it depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to do, what direction you're going in. And again, there's so many factors here that come into play. I'm giving you guys this information so you can dictate what you want to do with it. Okay? Guys, we got one more live stream for the week. On Saturday, 9 a.m. CST, we are doing a giveaway for my clients. My clients have been doing a challenge this week. They're going hard. They're going strong. They're doing challenges on a day-by-day basis. And so we're going to go ahead and do a reward on Saturday. So when we do the Saturday live stream, we'll do a little bit of mindset stuff. And then, of course, someone in my training is going to win $100. So I hope you guys brought your A game. I'll talk to you guys very soon.